Welcome to this structured Class 10 biology lecture on life processes. Life processes are the basic, essential functions performed by living organisms to maintain their existence on Earth. These processes include nutrition, respiration, transportation, and excretion. Every living cell, whether single-celled like an amoeba or part of a complex multicellular organism like a human, must constantly perform chemical reactions to prevent its structure from breaking down. Even when we are asleep, energy is required to maintain this order. In this lecture, we will study nutrition in plants and animals, dissect cellular respiration, map out the human circulatory system, and explore how kidneys filter wastes and excretion. Autotrophic nutrition is the process by which green plants and some bacteria manufacture their own organic food using simple inorganic materials like carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Carbon dioxide is absorbed from the atmosphere through tiny pores on the leaf surface called stomata, while water is absorbed by the roots from the soil. Inside the leaf cells, chloroplasts contain the green pigment chlorophyll, which traps light energy. The overall chemical equation of photosynthesis is 6CO2 plus 12H2O in the presence of sunlight, and chlorophyll yields 1 molecule of glucose plus 6 molecules of oxygen plus 6 molecules of water. Photosynthesis is the primary source of food and oxygen for almost all life on Earth. Unlike plants, animals and fungi cannot make their own food. They depend on autotrophs directly or indirectly for their energy requirements, a mode of nutrition called heterotrophic nutrition. Heterotrophic nutrition is divided into three main types: Holozoic, Saprophytic, and Parasitic. Holozoic nutrition involves ingesting solid food, digesting it internally, and absorbing the nutrients, which is seen in humans, dogs, and amoeba. Saprophytic nutrition involves feeding on dead and decaying organic matter by secreting digestive enzymes externally and absorbing the dissolved nutrients, which is seen in fungi and bread molds. Parasitic nutrition involves obtaining food from the body of another living host organism without killing it, which is seen in tapeworms, leeches, and cuscuta plants. In humans, Holozoic nutrition takes place inside a long, muscular tube called the alimentary canal. Digestion begins in the mouth, where salivary amylase breaks down starch into simple sugars. The food then passes down the esophagus into the stomach. The stomach walls secrete gastric juice containing hydrochloric acid, pepsin to digest proteins, and mucus to protect the stomach lining. From the stomach, the food enters the small intestine, which is the site of complete digestion. The small intestine receives bile juice from the liver to emulsify fats, and pancreatic juice from the pancreas, containing trypsin for protein digestion and lipase for fat breakdown. Tiny finger-like projections called villi in the intestinal walls then absorb the digested food. Once food is absorbed, cells must break it down to release energy, a process called cellular respiration. Respiration begins with glycolysis in the cytoplasm, where a 6-carbon glucose molecule is broken down into a 3-carbon pyruvate molecule. Pyruvate is then processed depending on the presence of oxygen. In aerobic respiration, which occurs in the mitochondria in the presence of oxygen, pyruvate is completely broken down to yield carbon dioxide, water, and 38 ADP molecules. In anaerobic respiration, which occurs in the absence of oxygen, pyruvate is broken down. In yeast, this yields ethanol and carbon dioxide, a process called fermentation. In our muscle cells during vigorous exercise, it yields lactic acid, causing muscle cramps and releasing only 2 ADP molecules. To support aerobic cellular respiration, the human respiratory system facilitates gaseous exchange. Air enters through the nostrils, passes through the nasal passage where it is filtered by hair and mucus, and travels down the trachea. The trachea is supported by cartilaginous rings to prevent it from collapsing. The trachea branches into 2 bronchi, which enter the lungs and branch into bronchioles. These bronchioles terminate in millions of microscopic, balloon-like structures called alveoli. The alveoli provide a massive surface area for gaseous exchange. Their walls are extremely thin and surrounded by a dense network of blood capillaries. Here, oxygen from the inhaled air diffuses into the blood, and carbon dioxide from the blood diffuses into the alveoli to be exhaled. Transportation of nutrients, oxygen, and waste in humans is carried out by the circulatory system, which consists of blood, blood vessels, and the heart. The human heart is a muscular organ about the size of a fist. To prevent oxygen-rich blood from mixing with carbon dioxide-rich blood, the heart is divided into 4 chambers: the right atrium, the right ventricle, the left atrium, and the left ventricle. Oxygenated blood from the lungs enters the left atrium via pulmonary veins, passes to the left ventricle, and is pumped to the entire body through the main artery, the aorta. Deoxygenated blood from the body enters the right atrium via the vena cava, passes to the right ventricle, and is pumped to the lungs via pulmonary arteries for oxygenation. This double circulation cycle is highly efficient. Blood is transported throughout the body through a network of closed tubes called blood vessels. Arteries are thick-walled, elastic vessels that carry oxygenated blood away from the heart to the body under high pressure. Since blood flows under pressure, arteries do not need valves. Veins are thin-walled vessels that carry deoxygenated blood back to the heart. Veins have valves to ensure that blood flows in only one direction. Capillaries are microscopic, single-cell thick vessels where exchange of materials between blood and tissues occurs. Another fluid involved in transportation is lymph. Lymph is a straw-colored fluid that filters out of capillaries into intercellular spaces, helping in the absorption of digested fats and fighting infections. Unlike animals, plants do not have a muscular heart to pump fluids. Instead, they transport water, minerals, and organic food through specialized vascular tissues, xylem and phloem. Xylem transports water and dissolved mineral ions absorbed from the soil upwards from the roots to the leaves. This upward movement is driven by root pressure and transpiration pull. Transpiration is the evaporation of water vapor from the stomata of leaves, creating a continuous suction pull that draws water upwards. Phloem transports organic food manufactured in the leaves to other parts of the plant, a process called translocation. Translocation is an active process that requires energy in the form of ADP to load sucrose into sieve tubes. Excretion is the biological process by which toxic metabolic wastes, especially nitrogenous compounds like urea, are removed from the body. The human excretory system consists of a pair of kidneys, a pair of ureters, a urinary bladder, and a urethra. The kidneys are bean-shaped organs located in the abdomen. Each kidney contains about 1 million microscopic filtration units, called nephrons. Blood containing nitrogenous wastes enters the kidneys through the renal artery. As blood filters through the nephron, useful substances like glucose, amino acids, and water are selectively reabsorbed into the surrounding capillaries. The remaining concentrated liquid, containing excess water and urea, forms urine, which flows through the ureters into the bladder to be expelled. Compared to animals, plants use completely different strategies for excretion. First, they release gaseous waste like oxygen, produced during photosynthesis, and carbon dioxide, produced during respiration, through the stomatal pores on their leaves. Second, excess water is excreted into the atmosphere through transpiration. Third, many plant waste products are stored in cellular vacuoles or in aging tissues like leaves that eventually wither and fall off. Finally, waste materials like resins and gums are stored in old xylem vessels, especially in woody stems. Some plants also excrete organic waste substances directly into the soil around their roots. These mechanisms allow plants to safely isolate and discard wastes without complex organs. In this comprehensive biology lecture, we have explored the essential life processes of nutrition, respiration, transportation, and excretion. We studied plant autotrophic photosynthesis and animal heterotrophic digestion. We analyzed cellular respiration pathways, comparing aerobic mitochondrial reactions with anaerobic lactic acid and yeast fermentation. We mapped out the human circulatory system, detailing double circulation through the 4 chambers of the heart. We investigated plant vascular transport, detailing xylem transpiration pull and active phloem translocation. Finally, we dissected kidney nephron filtration and plant waste excretion. Mastering these physiological concepts builds a strong foundation in biological sciences. To ensure absolute mastery of this academic unit, let us conduct a comprehensive review of the core concepts and frameworks we have explored today. The key to solving complex problems lies in first understanding the fundamental definitions and structural relationships between variables. Whether you are balancing chemical equations, analyzing geometric properties of circles, or deriving logarithmic equations, you must always verify the base rules, identify the known variables, and state the governing principles explicitly before proceeding. Remember, active learning is not just about memorizing equations. It is about recognizing how these equations model real-world phenomena. In the next slide, we will look at an advanced practice problem designed to challenge your analytical thinking and test your application of these concepts. Practice writing down the definitions and drawing the visual models from memory to solidify your comprehension. To ensure absolute mastery of this academic unit, let us conduct a comprehensive review of the core concepts and frameworks we have explored today. The key to solving complex problems lies in first understanding the fundamental definitions and structural relationships between variables. Whether you are balancing chemical equations, analyzing geometric properties of circles, or deriving logarithmic equations, you must always verify the base rules, identify the known variables, and state the governing principles explicitly before proceeding. Remember, active learning is not just about memorizing equations. It is about recognizing how these equations model real-world phenomena. In the next slide, we will look at an advanced practice problem designed to challenge your analytical thinking and test your application of these concepts. Practice writing down the definitions and drawing the visual models from memory to solidify your comprehension.